Chest up, shoulders back. This is Revival Wrestling, where I have better wrestling takes than you, and you know it. I haven't done one of these in a while here, folks. A lot going on with my main channel and work otherwise. WWE has been very hot lately, though, man. I'll tell you what, and it feels like that was so long ago, wasn't it? Whenever The Rock basically took Cody's spot at WrestleMania, and then the backlash occurred, and I guess they changed course. You know, they might claim that that was their plan all along. I think it was pretty obvious they changed direction. It's a good thing they did, though, because I'll tell you what, heel Rock, the final boss Rock character, is great, man. I think the Rock concert and stuff is a little corny. Like, I think he should really play up like he did last night, like just being a pure villain. Like, huge ego, like, I'm the Rock, how dare you question me? That segment with him and Cody last night, at the end, whenever the Rock was just beating the crap out of Cody, that was good stuff, man. You might have saw, too, John Cena and Steve Austin were on the production truck in the back. And WWE now seems to have a lot of subliminal messaging, so I think those two are going to show up at WrestleMania. You would think so, in some capacity. I've seen some people say, oh, maybe Austin comes out and stops The Rock when he's about to cost Cody the title or something. A lot of possibilities. But on that topic, we got to talk about Roman Reigns. Because I'll tell you what, man, last night really solidified this, and it's kind of felt like this for a few weeks now, but the WrestleMania main event seems like it's Cody versus The Rock, does it not? And then Roman's just there. Even though Cody needs to technically beat Roman to finish his story. And I've heard a lot of people say that Roman is still going to retain and they want Roman to beat all the records. First of all, if Cody loses to Roman again, even if he gets screwed out of it again, he's done in terms of this entire narrative. He has to win. And beyond the narrative, okay, I don't even care about the narrative anymore. Roman is holding this title hostage. He's been for a while now. But now it's even worse because The Rock has totally upstaged him. I mean, dude, we're at the point now where The Rock, who's a part-timer, shows up on the shows more than Roman Reigns, who is the dual champion. He's the unified champion. He doesn't even show up to work. Truly, I don't know. What is Roman doing? I mean this genuinely, bro. Like, where is this guy? What is he doing that he can't possibly even show up once a week? I mean, him showing up on SmackDown's still not a weekly occurrence right now. What is this guy doing to where he's so busy that he can't show up? Genuinely, I don't know. Like, is he sick? Does he have some other thing? Truly, it blows my mind why this guy can't show up. But even beyond that, him not being there is one thing, because Heyman can talk for him and all this other stuff. Even that's run its course, I think. Even as good as Heyman is. But look, man, Roman has been totally outshined by The Rock. You see people talk about aura. That's like the popular word now for charisma and magnetism. Roman's aura is gone with The Rock here. And that's going to happen to anybody, basically, or pretty much anybody, given the star power of The Rock. He's such a charismatic dude. Very, very hard to not get overshadowed by him. Even just his size. The dude's been juicing his ass off for so many years now. He's just huge. But, like, man, Roman just, in comparison to The Rock, he's, like, useless. He's irrelevant. He's nothing. They talk about, like, the island of relevancy. That island is The Rock's now, bro. He just kicked you off the shit. You're gone. I mean, think about it even visually. The Rock comes out. He's got that insane entrance. And Roman has a big production entrance, to his credit, too. But, dude, The Rock has, you know, the jewelry and the tank top, and his big arms are showing. And he's got the sunglasses. You know, The Rock is actually dressed to impress, so to speak. I was thinking about this the other day. Dude, Roman just comes out in a hoodie and sweatpants. That's kind of lame, isn't it? I mean, genuinely, I get that's part of his gimmick. Like, none of the guys in the bloodline dress up extremely nicely. But even so, man, I mean, could you not put Roman in, like, a shirt and tie? I know Cody wears that, too. Like, Cody does the whole politician dress-up thing. But could you not put Roman in, I don't know, just some level of nicer attire? Like, does it have to be a hoodie and sweatpants? It looks like he literally rolled out of bed. And the thing with Roman, too, is he's got much better as an actor. Since working with Heyman, it took them long enough to get him some actual acting classes and stuff like that. But he still can't go toe-to-toe with The Rock on the mic. Like, dude, Roman still does that thing whenever he starts talking, and he tends to be really quiet when he talks, and he has to kind of work his way up into it. The Rock will do that very briefly, but he gets out of that in seconds. Roman can kind of drone on in that cadence, if that makes sense. Roman has the title. Like, he's got the grand prize. He's got the thing, right? I mean, this is what wrestling and any sport, even though wrestling's not a sport, but that's what this all comes down to. It's about winning the championship. Roman's got the championship, and he's still an afterthought. I mean, as if the World Heavyweight Championship that Rollins has isn't diminished enough already, right? That's the consolation prize championship because Roman never showed up. And that's something that Seth will talk about in his promos. He's like, this is the workhorse title and this and that. It's like, well, that's good in its own right, dude. But it's like, they had, what, a tournament for that? It's like, hey, you guys show up to work. The other guy doesn't. Let's start a new title for you. I mean, the whole thing was really tacky, dude. And Seth has gone much better recently. Like, he's also in this tag match at WrestleMania. He's also not really relevant to this story at all. He's also fighting Drew, which I think Drew should definitely beat Seth. I think he should beat him clean. They'll probably have him cheat because Drew's a heel, but anyway. Seth needs to lose that title. It needs a breath of fresh air into it. Both of these titles badly need a breath of fresh air. That's what really needs to happen here, man. I guess they were going to give it to Punk, the World Heavyweight Championship. He got hurt. Fragile Phil. It is what it is. That's why you should lift weights, kids, by the way. Punk is a guy that doesn't take his body seriously at all. Eats like shit, barely trains. Yeah, that's what you get. But given all these factors, Roman has got to lose this title, man. I mean, Cody even just said it in the promo he did this past Monday on Raw. He was like, I behave like the champion because the actual champion doesn't show up. They're letting these guys talk about this in promos. Well, here's an idea, booking committee. How about you change the hands of the champion? How about you get the belt on somebody else? Right? I mean, it's different for Seth because he has a different belt. But I mean, dude, I don't know how long they're going to let Roman just barely show up and, you know, put on. A lot of his matches really are not even that great of matches. He's had better matches with Cody. Or I guess he's only had one, really. But his match with Cody at last WrestleMania was better than almost all his other title defenses. A lot of Roman's title defenses are pretty drawn out and slow. And it's always the same thing. The bloodline comes in and he cheats to... I mean, dude, it's just so repetitive. And I get it because wrestling and really anything else, there's always a lot of repetition. Teams run the same plays. The same superstars get all the points. The same narratives get played out. I understand it, okay? I'm not saying they need to just do crazy stuff every single time. But how many times do we need to see Roman about to lose and he either is pinned and the ref is knocked out? 1, 2, 3, oh, the referee is knocked out. Or the bloodline interferes whenever Roman is struggling and then he does the spear and he wins. You know what I mean? Like, it's played out, man. It's over. Truly, like, I don't see how you can continue going with this any longer. I get why they would want Roman to beat Hogan's record and stuff in a sense of passing the torch. And, you know, Hogan's not liked publicly now by anybody pretty much for a number of reasons. The old head wrestling fans still love him, but nobody in my age or younger likes him at all. At least they don't care about him anymore. But what is the longest reigning one? Bruno Sammartino, I think, which would mean Roman would have to hold the belt for another hundreds, if not thousands of days or something. I mean, how long can we possibly do this? So I guess if anything, they would have him hold it to beat Hogan. Even so, you got to pull the trigger on this, bro. It's over. I mean, just Roman at this point is so played out. The character is stale. The bloodline itself is very stale. The bloodline is way past its expiration date. Even with Jay leaving and stuff, I mean, it's over, man. You got to give it up. We were talking about this last year at WrestleMania. I was making this point last year, man. And give them credit. They've managed a way to extend this out for this long. That does take some talent with the writing and the production and the superstars themselves. Because I didn't think Cody was going to be able to carry the momentum this long. I did not think he could do it. He's done a hell of a job. You know, as political as he is and how corny he can come across, and, you know, his promos get a little too scripted in my opinion. Obviously scripted. But you got to give Cody credit, dude. He's done a bang-up job at keeping people invested. He does all the stuff with the fans, right? I mean, he's doing the work. He's putting the work in. He's hauling his ass. But if he doesn't win this belt, what is it, 2 weekends away, I think? If he doesn't win this belt now, what is it going to be? I mean, I guess you could say, oh, well, he doesn't beat Roman, but then he fights The Rock. And it's like, okay, man, you and I both know The Rock is not going to be full-time, right? This is a short-lived thing. He's going to be back in Hollywood realistically sooner than later. You still want to have the belt on Roman, and he still doesn't show up. I mean, we need Cody to have the belt, and he can be a fighting champion, some fresh new feuds. Dude, there's all kinds of guys that are hovering around the main event scene that can use this, right? LA Knight has totally cooled off, even though the fans still cheer for him. He's cooled off. Damian Priest carrying that godforsaken albatross of a briefcase around his neck. There's no room for him in the main event scene. He doesn't even deserve to be there, frankly. He's just not charismatic enough. Judgment Day as a faction is totally cooked. They're done. But McIntyre's good. Punk's going to be coming back healthy. I mean, I don't know what John Cena's going to be doing. Maybe he comes back in the fold at some point. Randy Orton, too. He should be fighting Logan Paul by himself. Kevin Owens does not need to have his big fat ass in that title picture either. But, like, I don't know, man. You have a lot of guys you can maneuver around the main event scene. Rollins, too, has the other title. AJ Styles might be able to come into play depending on what happens. There's someone else I'm missing. You guys can tell me down below. There's somebody I can't think of right now. Don't say Sami Zayn, by the way. Okay, get over that. But, oh, Gunther. They're going to probably elevate Gunther to the world title picture, too, coming up in the not-too-distant future, once somebody finally beats him for the Intercontinental Championship. So, there's all these moving parts, man, and I just can't imagine that they're going to make us still suffer through, because that's what it is now. It's not even fun anymore. Like, when Roman comes back now, realistically, do you even look forward to it? I watched the segment because Cody's involved and The Rock's involved, but, you know, Roman is just like, here he is again. It's over, man. It's well past its expiration date. The Rock's overshadowed him. What you probably should do, I would assume, there's going to be some type of swerve to where The Rock either costs Roman. Now, whether that's intentional or unintentional, I don't know. That could be very interesting to see how it plays out. But The Rock versus Roman, which is what they wanted to do in the first place, and I totally understand why they wanted to do that, and they still should. That's a huge money match. Be stupid not to have that match. But that's what they need to do. It needs to be The Rock versus Roman. You could say SummerSlam this coming year. You could do Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble next, they could surely drag this on. These guys love to drag these things on, right? They barely show up as it is. You could drag this on for a long time. But that's going to be the next logical step, I think. Cody needs to get over The Rock, which that might extend a little bit past WrestleMania. I guess we'll see. But you have to get Cody the championship. He can go do his own thing. And then we can pivot to the Bloodline saga, right? The final boss versus the tribal chief. And then that's going to be, it should be, the conclusion of the Bloodline story. Like, that's how you put a bow on it. That's how you end it. I would have Roman win and win cleanly if that's what you're going to do. But that could be a ways away. We'll see what happens with that. But Cody needs nothing to do with this. Rollins needs nothing to do with this. Cody can basically be the catalyst to really fissuring the Bloodline, like really getting the cracks to show. And then Roman and versus The Rock is going to be pretty much the end of it, I would assume. Or I think it should be. But let me know your thoughts down below, man. I can't take Roman even seriously anymore, dude. Like, I'll watch the match, obviously, but him as this character just barely shows up in his sweatpants. He does a little promo, cheat to win. Like, it's over, man. Like, we can't keep getting held hostage by this, no matter how hot the product is otherwise. If your world champion is fitting these criteria, and now he's getting outshined by his cousin who came back, you got to stop this, bro. It's time to move on. It's time to go to greener pastures. Roman Reigns has totally transformed with this character. It was badly needed. The heel turn, Heyman, all of this stuff. He's done a heck of a job, but he doesn't even show up to the job now. And for a lot of this title reign, he hasn't either. And he's got a lot of passes, and you could argue, oh, that's part of being a heel. He doesn't show up because he doesn't care about the fans and all this stuff. I get that, but for God's sake, man, it's time to move on. So if this WrestleMania, if they don't finally finish this, I was skeptical last time, but if that happens this time, I'm going to just fully give up.